Reach for the sky, boy. I'm not supposed to be doing this shit right now. I told everybody I was taking a break. I told people who wanted to join the hustle for the next time we did a wrestling show, nah, I'm taking a break. We're not doing anything for a while. It's not a reflection on anybody. It's just, I need to get my mind right. I've been going through too much shit. And here I am. I'm supposed to be on vacation. I'm supposed to be on a fucking YouTube vacation. I don't get this shit. This shit happens. In Star Wars, Visions comes on, and you got people hitting me up, texting me, DMing me on Twitter, and calling me on the horn, and this is making my life a hell, okay? A living hell. So...
This is the responsibility of you, Track. This is what they want. The people want this from you. This is what did Peter Parker's uncle say? Uncle Ben?
With great power
comes great responsibility.
Well, it was a big night in Puerto Rico, land of the Boricua. Land of the Taino Indian. Here's Sábado Gigante. Los damas y caballeros. My Spanish ain't good enough to give Q the intro he deserves. But here we go. With me, as always, is the most magnanimous, the most objective, the most scholarly, the most stupendous. He is the king of the motherfucking hoopla, and he is the most glorious man in the IWC, YWC, TWC, FBWC community. And he is a fellow Boricua, Chavalo de la Cruz. ¿Qué pasó? ¿Qué tú haces?
Qué bonita bandera, qué bonita bandera, qué bonita bandera, qué bonita bandera. What's going on there, Hustle Lights?
Yo, so much to get into, okay? I have some AEW complaints, but this is the night of Backlash. There's some good AEW news.
No. No. This is not Backlash. I refuse to call this WWE Backlash. I am calling this Puerto Rico All In. This has Wembley Stadium. You're gonna have to bring it. 17,000 Boricuas out there were.
That's how many it was. 17,000.
17,000.
I thought it was more than that. I thought it was like freaking 30,000 people there, bro. I didn't know. I thought it was bigger than that. It damn sure sounded like it was more than 17,000.
Wembley Stadium, y'all gonna have to bring it because Puerto Rico brought it on Friday and they brought it on Saturday.
Listen, I didn't watch too much of Friday Night SmackDown, but tonight the show was a fun show. I didn't dig every match. I thought the Bad Bunny match was an overbooked mess, but it was a fun match. It was fun to watch. It was fun. No, there was a part in that match, and please answer me this: what took them so long to come out when Savio Vega came out? I was like, why is he standing there? And don't get me wrong, I'm not saying it ruined it. I'm not trying to put a dark cloud over the event. I just found that particular part to be really strange. I was like, what the hell is this?
No, actually, I can answer this, and hopefully it doesn't sound like I'm a shill. But remember, when you're in Puerto Rico, Savio Vega, that's one of the kings of Puerto Rican wrestling.
Quang?
So, you don't get fucked up in Puerto Rico. Do not go to Puerto Rico. You are on the most wanted list.
He was Quang. I'm not forgetting that. Every time you point out a wrestler you like, I'm not gonna forget how you don't let Super Eric go. Okay, that nigga was Quang.
But I'm gonna answer your question. It's the same thing with like Carlito. It's the same thing with Savio Vega. You got legends in Puerto Rico, and for the reason of that is why Triple H said, you know what? Give them their shine. Give them some time. Let the crowd, soak it up. Let the crowd marinate hearing Savio Vega's Los Boricuas music. Let the crowd marinate hearing Carlito Cool's music. So that's what it was. Whether I understand your timing issue, but you know what? They're gonna be. That was a one-off.
If you want to say that, all right, I'll give you that.
The best one-off that both of those guys can have.
Fair enough. But let's start off with the show. At least, listen, it wasn't a long show. The matches seemed to be quick. It was the pace was good. These aren't complaints. These are just things that that I noticed. The first match, Iyo Sky versus Bianca Belair. Some people were surprised by the booing that Bianca got. I wasn't. I think I heard some pelo malo chants in there for Bianca Belair. Listen, we ain't gonna act like Puerto Rico ain't friendly to Morenos unless you're Tego Calderon, okay? let's not act like we don't know what's going on here, okay? We know the deal. We know about you, Ricans, Q. We know about you. You know y'all black, right? You know y'all black. You know that. You know that. Yeah. You know that black. All right. So the fuck was y'all booing Bianca like that for? What the hell? I have to explain this to the black people.
But you know what? People were starting to boo Bianca even in the States. People were starting to get tired of Bianca in the States. So it just filtered down to Puerto Rico. So we just heard the message. So we are acknowledging the message that the United States was already giving with Bianca, being tired of Bianca, being tired of the year reign, which again, I'm always a fan of legacies. I'm always a fan of her reign. So, that's just me. But again, the Puerto Rican crowd was feeding off the information that they received from the United States audience. That's all it is.
I thought this match, actually, in my opinion, was the match of the night. I didn't even think the main event topped it to me. I thought this was the match of the night. I thought that Iyo Sky and Bianca, to me, all right, I'm gonna tell y'all something. Because I kept trying to tell people this before. I didn't think Sasha versus Bianca at WrestleMania was great. I thought it was good. I enjoyed it, but I didn't think it was great. Shout outs to the Solid Monster, who I'm sure is live as we do this, who thought Bianca versus Asuka at WrestleMania was excellent. And I said, think of what? There's a lot of people who thought that match was really good. Bianca fan, Asuka fan, I did not think that match was good. I thought it was very sloppy. I thought it was a lot of miscommunications because maybe that was their first time in the ring together. But this match here was fucking awesome. I forget the crowd booing Bianca. Forget all of that. The fact that Iyo was over, I was happy for her. Good. But this match was off the fucking hook. And I thought that both ladies went out there and did their thing. You didn't have too many I think I saw maybe one or two miscues or whatever, but it definitely wasn't anything that took me out of the match. Iyo, she did her thing. I didn't even know where this match came from, to tell you the truth. What was their story behind this? I mean, I know she's been feuding with Damage Control for forever.
She won like a triple threat, or it was like Damage Control. Well, no, it wasn't that. It was Damage Control against Bianca, and then Iyo said to Bayley, "Why can't it be my turn?" That's just in a nutshell. And then, of course, Bayley acknowledged that and then said, "Here, you get the chance. You get the chance at Bianca." So that's how it kind of the story played out itself.
Okay, because the story in this match,
it was a coming out party for Iyo Sky. and you can see the ripple effects of it that will carry over on SmackDown, Hustleites. So we see, I think Iyo Sky is going to break away from Damage Control because those two have the belts.
Bayley cost her that match. She did. She did. And not only did she cause her that match, she caused me to have, an erection. I almost flipped my table over when she came out in them pants. And then she started bending over. I was like, and if you saw my Twitter, that was my actual response when Bayley came out. I said, damn, I lost concentration in the match after that. I didn't know what the hell was going on. I was just looking at Bayley. That ass.
That was some Latin booty there. That's some Mexican Latin booty right there.
For real. I almost forgot. I'm like, was she Puerto Rican? I'm like, no, she's Mexican. But she was looking good. But in the end, she indirectly, or maybe she directly, cost Iyo Sky the match, and Bianca retains again, making her reign what? Even longer? How many days is that for her now?
It is a year, so she's already over 365 days. So I'm going to say roughly 360 or 70 days. So she's one of the longest reigning women's champions, and until that stupid switch of the titles that I'm not a fan of, which they should have handled that a little bit better. But again, that's the nitpicking that we all will have in the coming days.
She's on SmackDown, right?
Yeah, she's the number one pick of SmackDown, but she's the Raw
champion. Charlotte's on SmackDown now too?
Charlotte's on SmackDown.
Stayed on SmackDown, I should say.
Yes, Charlotte's staying on SmackDown, and Rhea is the SmackDown champion, but she's on Raw, so they're gonna have to do that stupid switch. So
Charlotte's taking that title off of Bianca. It's happening. Her reign is gonna come to an end at the hands of Charlotte. I think we all know that. You wanna surprise the hell out of me? Have Bianca win when they fight. I'm pretty sure they're setting up for Bianca. That's the next big match, Bianca versus Charlotte at SummerSlam. And when Charlotte comes back from whatever the hell she's doing, she'll come back and she'll win her title again. Listen, let me tell you, if that actually does happen,
there will be a rant. He won't be on vacation, Hustleites. He will be like, I was going to be on vacation, but then Bianca lost to Charlotte. And
it's like, all right, first off, let me just tell you some things about that draft that fucking just pissed me off and made no sense. You came up with this horrendous ass fucking title and a stupid ass concept to where people are thinking that it's Cody who's going to end up with that title, and I don't think Cody is going to have anything to do with that title. There was a comment made on one of our videos where it said if you notice that Cody, when he came out that Monday night, he never even looked at that title. He never even addressed it. Same thing tonight, I noticed it. So I'm going in with the fact that Cody will not be getting that title. I know why people think that it's something for Cody, but I don't think he will. I think it will go to Seth Rollins. My original idea was split the Street Profits and give that shit to Montez Ford. Now, of course, you have people say, oh, Montez Ford isn't ready yet. You just broke your stardom. Man, fuck that. First of all, Montez was ready since he debuted on NXT. That dude has been ready. The man has it. I'm just saying, I don't need to see Seth Rollins win. Let's just give somebody new the title. But that's not going to happen because they kept the Street Profits together. Now, this was the time to break them up. And it's like that we were suggesting with Billy Ray. Don't have no traditional one of them turns their back on the other because, we know what's going to happen with that. If no matter who it is, Dawkins is not going to be.
Can I ask you a hypothetical?
Go ahead.
Why not during this tournament? If there is a tournament, right? Why can't the Street Profits fight each other one-on-one or in the triple threat and just have that?
If they put them in, then we know that they're already planting the seeds for the breakup. But you could have just split them. You could have had Tez on Raw, Dawkins on SmackDown. You could have had Tez on SmackDown, Dawkins on Raw.
Remember, you got to learn the mistakes of previous drafts. You had the Dudleys breakup, one on Raw and one on SmackDown, and people hated that. So you just don't want to make the same mistakes twice.
Yes, but here's the thing. Was there anyone at that time saying Bully Ray needs to go solo, Devon needs to go solo? No, they have been saying Montez, it's his time now for almost 2 years. Almost 2 years they've been saying this, and they're waiting. Listen, They're waiting. Fine. Okay, fine. Usually they do this shit kind of fast, but if they want to wait, okay. All I'm saying is the draft, you should have split them up right then and there. The point of this draft, I thought, was to split the brands. The point of this title, I thought, was for Raw. So now you have SmackDown and Raw competing for this title. You can tell me and you can explain to me why it makes sense, and it might even make sense. But at the end of the day, what the fuck was the point of bringing this title if you're going to have people from SmackDown competing for it? Have them just go against Roman Reigns. To me, that shit just made no sense. And like I said, it could make sense. You could piece it together and explain it, but it's still stupid to me. So that was my thing.
I can't say that concept with SmackDown being in this tournament, except maybe whoever got drafted to SmackDown and just doesn't look. I'm going to use Karrion Kross as an example because Karrion Kross looks lost, right?
So had his first really good match against Nakamura. I did see that,
but he lost, right? So I mean, and then people will say, "Well, Karrion Kross, what's left for him on SmackDown? Put him in this tournament. Let's just say hypothetically he wins. Now he can go on Raw and start over. So he starts fresh and be like, oh shit, you're gonna give Karrion Kross the belt? Wow, that's a shocking moment. It ain't gonna happen. I know that because he's got to embrace the BDSM that he used to wear. If he doesn't embrace the helmet and the BDSM stuff, then we can never get the Karrion Kross that we all love.
It would also be the biggest "what the fuck is this" moment of the whole IWC for that matter. Even people watching the show would be like, imagine if they gave him the title over Seth Rollins in the main event in the finals at Saudi Arabia. I mean, at the end of the day, I don't know if he's 100% ready to come back. Is AJ 100?
Yeah, AJ's 100, but I think he's going to be one. He's going to be one of the next opponents for Roman Reigns on the filler pay-per-views before the big ones.
Again, I don't care about that. I don't give a shit about anybody Roman is facing because it's going to be the outcome that we know is going to be, which is Roman Reigns winning. But, it would make for a better main event if you had Seth Rollins versus AJ Styles for that horrendous world title. But, moving on with this pay-per-view, what did we have next? What was next? The triple threat match for the U.S. title?
Yeah, we can talk about that. We don't have to go in order.
That match, I was like, this is not too good right now. I didn't think Austin Theory was all there in his game. I thought Bronson Reed, he came and he showed out a bit. You saw him, attempt that moonsault, but he missed. But that was still a highlight, which is a sad thing when the highlight of the match was an attempted moonsault where he pretty much crashed and burned, or he just missed. Bobby Lashley got some cheers. They were mid, but he got some cheers. But I'm telling people right now, man, it's not because they like Bobby Lashley. They scared to boo his ass.
Wait a minute. They're scared to boo Bobby Lashley, but they were quick to boo out Omos, the Nigerian Nightmare?
Yeah, because Omos, everybody knows Omos stinks. Oh, that was, and we'll get to that match. But this match in itself, I thought, wasn't all of that. This is the match where I was like, okay, this is not that good, or this is not as good as it should be. And you had Austin Theory going over when Lashley hit a spear. He throws Lashley out, and the heel wins in a sneaky way. And I don't know if this continues with Bobby Lashley. I don't know where Bobby Lashley is right now. I guess he's chasing the U.S. title again, but you want him back in that world title contention. I don't know. He's on SmackDown now, right?
Mm-hmm.
So he'll probably be fed to Roman because he's the one who beat Roman clean.
Right. No, well, this was a filler triple threat because Bronson's on Raw and the other two are on SmackDown. So you already knew that Bronson was going to eat the pin, no matter what, because Bronson's going to do his own thing, going after maybe Gunther and the Intercontinental title and all that stuff, and probably going to be in that world title tournament. But neither here nor there. But this was just a filler match. This was just to get Austin Theory over, which it did its purpose. And of course, any flaw of any match in this pay-per-view, I could actually dismiss it because the crowd was just so amped and into it. They were not bored.
I knew you was going to say that. And I got to tell you something. that shit don't matter to me. I don't give a fuck if the crowd is damn near on fire almost. Okay, if the shit isn't good, to me the crowd ain't gonna make it better. It just doesn't. And I'm pretty sure that you and Billy Ray was feeling that during the Bad Bunny match because the crowd was just not gonna be silent. So it amped the match up a little bit more. But to me, it's like, yo, the crowd is good, that's great, but if you're still not executing to my liking, the crowd ain't gonna save you. That's just the way I feel about it. I love the fact that the crowd was loud. I love that, and it's not too often, at least where I can actually say, well, it's been a few pay-per-views, but like I said, I really enjoyed this pay-per-view. I felt good about it. You had that match. You brought up Gunther. It's funny to me when you brought up Gunther because I was thinking, and I made a comment in a thread where I said, the fact that they kept this title on this man who's been the longest reigning Intercontinental Champion or whatever, it still doesn't really. It adds to the prestige. It adds to the prestige, but you're not there yet. You really want to and I say this because they showed a promo for Gunther, and that's when I was commenting what I'm saying now. You want to make this title actually prestigious. It's not just a long title reign or great matches. You gotta start ending shows with that IC title. I'm not talking about like major pay-per-views, but like tonight, and maybe not tonight because they were in Puerto Rico, but if they were somewhere else, you could have had the in the show with the IC title. You gotta start ending shows with that IC title.
I'm not gonna give an excuse, but a couple of days ago, Gunther got married, so he's got a honeymoon right now.
Oh no, that's fine. I'm not complaining that he wasn't on the card. I'm just saying that in the future, whatever, like just for example, whatever the next pay-per-view is, I know they're not, but you should have the IC title close the show at one point.
I don't know about Gunther's religion, but I don't know if he wants to go to Saudi Arabia for the next pay-per-view.
You said he doesn't?
I don't know if he's going. I don't know his religion. I don't. Was he Austrian or something? I don't know. For Saudi Arabia.
I don't know what his religion is.
Certain wrestlers in WWE cannot go to Saudi Arabia or don't want to.
Yeah, well, that's MVP. That's Sami Zayn that we know for a fact. Gunther, I'm not sure is on that list. I haven't heard anything about his faith. Not that we care, but we're only inquiring right now because of the Saudi show. But as far as I know, I think he's good. But like I said, just at some point, let this man close a show. Not a SmackDown, but a pay-per-view. He'll have a banger, and then that's when people really will start start recognizing that, because again, you're gonna have to have a high-profile title. Now that we know for a fact that Roman is possibly not losing to either SummerSlam or, if rumors are true, next WrestleMania, and I have no patience for that shit at all. I'm like, come on, like, stop.
Or they keep, I told you this about a year ago and you laughed at me. They might try to eclipse Hogan's 4-year reign, and that's September 2024.
No way. No way. No
way.
Do it.
We've closed.
No way. No way. And it's like, yo, nah. And I see people trying to, like, there are people who are like, oh, I love it. I'm like, I think it's funny how you pretend that this is good, knowing damn well you ain't liking this shit like that.
Oh, you know me.
I'm not talking about you. I'm not talking about you. I'm talking about some of these smarks out there who like make a comment and you can just read through that shit. You can see through it. It's like, nigga, shut up. You ain't really loving this shit. You just trolling. I can tell. I have a sixth sense about comments on Facebook and other social media if they're really genuine or not. I can almost tell. So it's like stop acting like some of y'all are enjoying this, because some of y'all are not. Some of y'all are Roman Reigns fans, and you are, and that's fine. But anyway, what else do we have in this pay-per-view? You had Zelina Vega versus.
Before that, you wanted to say something about Seth Rollins against Omos.
Oh yeah, that match was better than I thought it would be.
Iowa's greatest Puerto Rican. Seth Rollins, Cody Lopez.
Yo, Cody Lopez was over because his last name was Lopez, and these niggas think that nigga was Puerto Rican. He's Puerto Rican by adoption.
Hey, whatever the case.
The singing of the Seth song was just great. I'm sure Jericho was somewhere, patting himself on the back because we all know it was Jericho that made that possible. Nobody else in wrestling was having their song sung before Jericho. It's true. Not the Sandman, not anybody. It was all Jericho. He was the first.
Yeah.
He set the stage for it.
Not Sandman singing Enter the Sandman. Yeah, we didn't sing that.
Ain't nobody sung that shit. The Sandman came out and people was the Sandman came out. The Sandman song, the end of the Sandman was playing, but people started singing Crown King Nothing. They were singing the other Metallica song. They ain't give a shit about that. But the Seth Rollins match. Speaking of that match, it was interesting because later down the line, like in the beginning of the match, I was just like, what is this? Why? Here was the funny thing. They said to us, here's how we got here. And all they showed was clips of Seth and Omos. You didn't show us how we got here because there's no story about how we got here. Y'all just put this shit together. Y'all had one promo between MVP and Seth. That was it. So I laughed my ass off when they did that shit. I said, you didn't show us nothing. Like, only the stupid looked at this and said, oh, this is what happened. Seth just started winning, and Omos came in and said, I'm going to challenge you. So I just laughed through that promo before the promo vignette before the match. But in the match, when the match started, I'm sitting here like, yeah, okay. I don't care about this, and we all know it's not really going to be that good. But to be fair, it got better. It got better, and I don't know if they. I'm pretty sure this was always going to be. It was planned, but when they started telling the story about how he's going to get the stomp on Omos and how he finally did get the stomp on Omos, coming from the top rope. I thought it was great. I still say Seth Rollins should not be curb stomping black people based off the fact of what happened in American History X. Okay, you can't curb stomp black people after that. You can't. All right, you want to do your pedigree, do your pedigree. But after American History X, you cannot curb stomp black people. Okay, what are you gonna do next? Start lynching niggas? Nah, you can't do that.
Oh God.
Imagine if it was Mark Henry the Undertaker strung up instead of fucking a big boss man. Shit.
Can I request a hustleite who's very computer savvy to cross-reference American History X to the curb stop so I can just see it? And I can see Edward out the window like this. Oh, no.
And you know what the funny thing is, to this day, I still never actually watched that curb stomp. I always turn my head. I've never actually watched him do it. I could never actually watch it. I'm like, oh, I can't see this. Because even though I know it's a movie, it's still too real to me, damn it.
Okay, I'm going to keep it to wrestling here, all right? Okay. The storyline to get to the match, Track is absolutely 100% correct. It was horrible. It was horrendous. It was a filler. I thought
it was a joke. I thought they were going to call it off after the draft.
I'm just saying, you're right. I mean, to get to this match, yeah, you're right. The story made no sense and all this stuff. But the match itself...
No. It wasn't that the story didn't make sense. There was no story to make sense out of.
Just to get to this match, it was horrendous. It was just horrible. I'll give you that. I'm just saying the match itself, you can tell the ego of Seth Rollins because he said, "I'm going to you think I'm going to have a bad match with Omos? Hell no. I'm going to make this the match of the night." He took it upon himself with his ego to say, "I'm going to have the match of the night." And it was a good match. I mean,
it was better than Brock versus Omos. That was for damn sure.
No, but Seth took it upon himself with his ego to do it. Seth took it upon himself. He just said, "You know what? Fuck this. I'm gonna make Omos, a banger match. I'm gonna give Omos a banger match." And he gave a banger match. Now again,
he did a better job than Brock Lesnar. That's all I can say. He made Omos look more legit than Brock Lesnar did. Excuse me for one second.
And I'll say this, Hustleites, in my humble opinion, this is why Omos was not supposedly drafted to Raw or drafted to SmackDown. He is a free agent for the sole purpose for Triple H to like fill him into either program, whether it will be on SmackDown with somebody else to get somebody over, or on Raw to, for a match of the Giants between himself and maybe Bronson Reed down the line, or maybe that Omos will go down to NXT to get some to get some pointers and have one of those matches with Braun Breaker or something. That's why
God. they're gonna make Omos the NXT champion.
They could. I'm just saying that I can understand the reasoning for him to be the quote unquote free agent where he could go back and forth. So this way, if he lost here, now you go to SmackDown, keep him off TV for a couple of weeks and then do a program on SmackDown, whatever the case may be.
It was very interesting to see how they were gonna do this match, and when you're sitting there saying this is gonna suck, and it turns out being better than you thought it was gonna be, that's good. That's very good. And
or your expectations were so low that you got something that you was actually you enjoyed.
Exactly. So that's always a good thing. Can't even hate on it. And so we get Zelina Vega versus Rhea Ripley in one hell of a stinker of a match. Yeah, I know she got the pop and she came out looking good, and she had the home crowd on her side. They was chanting for her. She had her family in there. And like I said on Twitter, inside Zelina Vega lied a Taino waiting to whoop a white girl's ass. But that didn't really happen. Now, she got some of the crowd spots, with the 619, which was bad, and the shimmy for Eddie Guerrero, who's Mexican. I don't know what the hell that was about.
Don't forget the chancla. The
chancla. The chancleta. That was the best. That was the highlight of the match right there. Did she really get that from a fan?
No, her mother.
Oh, it was her mom. Okay. Because I didn't see who handed it to her. I just saw her when she had it and threw it. And I was like, yo, that was awesome. And listen, we all know the deal. All right, it's not a dude here who don't know what that meant. Okay, black, Hispanic, our parents threw shoes at us. Period. But the Latinos are known for that. The chancleta abuelita, she don't play no fucking games.
You can tell Zelina doesn't have kids yet because her accuracy was very small.
Oh yeah.
She don't have kids yet. You can tell.
She hadn't had practice with throwing that yet, And I guess Aleister Black don't be pissing her off like that. So that's the tell of a good marriage right there. But if your Latina woman has not thrown a shoe at you, she don't really love you yet. The love ain't really there. If she had not grabbed that chancleta and swung that shit at your ass at least once, the love is just not there. But the match, like I said, it did not deliver the way it should have, because, I like the fact that she's a gamer. I like the fact that she likes anime and all of that. She's a geek, but she's a nerd. But she's just not that good. Zelina Vega is just not that good, and you saw that tonight. And
she hasn't been that good, even in Impact Wrestling. She has her moments.
It's just not all there.
Yeah, she's very basic.
But
after the match, having a banger match. It wasn't about having a banger match.
It's about her coming home.
She was, there were certain points in the Vince McMahon regime where she was, I guess, promised like certain moments in the ring, and she didn't get that, and it was kind of fucked up. And Vince McMahon was wrong for that. So Triple H had to make it a point. Or maybe Vince McMahon made it a point. Remember, like I said, conspiracy theory hustleites, who booked this? Was it Vince or was it Triple H? Y'all make the call. If you enjoyed yourself, then it's supposedly Paul. But if there was some suspicious shit, then it's Vince McMahon that y'all hate. But again, I'm digressing on that one track. But again, maybe Triple H made it a point to say, you know what? You're going to get your moment no matter what. You're going to get the entrance. You're going to get the pop. You're going to get the time. As much time as you can get. You can't give her a 20-minute match. You know, JD Vera.
Oh, no.
You cannot give Zelina Vega a 20-minute match. It had to be short because she can only do so much. But she got her moments with the entrance, and she got her moments
the
when
match was about her getting a title shot in Puerto Rico and getting that pop and you know the post match standing ovation she got. That's what it was all about. So I can sit here and say that sucked.
You and I are right to track, but Zelina Vega has so much flaws in the ring. She can't do that. She can't do a banger match. So
that's why I kept trying to tell you this shit ain't flawless. You had 2 matches that was kind of bad, so it's not flawless. But going on to what should have been the fucking main event. I'm sorry. Fuck Cody. Fuck Brock. Fuck the Usos versus, you know, this nigga coming out in panties and Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn. All right? This should have been the main event. It should have closed out the show. You talk about giving moments. You know, give Damian Priest his moment. Have him close out the show in his home country, state, annexed, whatever you want to call it. What do you call it? Commonwealth, whatever it is. All right? Let him close the show.
We want to call it the state. We wanted to call it the state, but, you know, they don't want to.
I want to call it his own country. But what do I know? But the fact of the matter is, I was very upset by this. I was like, I thought this was closing the show. Now, a lot of people could explain to me about Cody, and I don't care. In fact, I don't even care about Cody anymore after WrestleMania. I was watching that Brock Lesnar match, not giving a fuck. But this match was, like I said in the beginning, it was overbooked mess, but it was fucking enjoyable as hell. Okay, now going back and forth with you guys in the group chat we had going, I did not think. Listen, Bad Bunny was way better in his first match than he was here tonight. Be it that it was a street fight, which, you know, like I said, I gave him the benefit of the doubt based on the fact that, you know, he's not a regular wrestler. He's not even a Logan Paul. So I gave him the benefit of the doubt of that. And I'll give him the benefit of the doubt of the fact that it was a street fight. Street fights, it don't got to be crisp. I got to take back some of the criticism I said, because even I gave John Cena leeway when it comes to street fights. All right, I've never been in a San Juan street fight. I've been in a Puerto Rico street fight that involved alligators and voodoo. I've been in a Kingston, Jamaican street fight that had to do with black sands and reefer. I've been in a slums of professional wrestling street fight that had to do with having fights in the Bronx. But never been in a San Juan street fight. And what did we see from Bad Bunny? We didn't have Bad Bunny. We had Bad Bunny New Jack. We had New Jack Bunny. That's what we had. My man came out with the shopping cart. He should have came out with fucking Natural Born Killers playing. I like the dedication of guys like Bad Bunny and Logan Paul. They really put their all into it. And I can watch this match. I can talk about the shitty Michinoku driver. I can talk about that shitty tornado DDT and that stall, whatever the fuck that was, that blockbuster or whatever the hell he did. I was like, how long did he pause in the air? Like 4 seconds? But
he gave an homage to Ricochet. He floats. He floated. It was a float.
That shit went in slow motion. Was like. I was like, what the hell was that? But the match, like I said, it was a fun match to watch. Of course, you had the LWO get involved. You had Judgment Day get involved. You had the Latino heat magnet, Dominic, get involved. All right? I used to say this nigga had go-away heat, but nah, it's not go-away. They truly hate this nigga's guts, bro. Like, and I wish that it didn't rattle him. And he needs to work on that, because Q, you see it as much as I do. It rattles him. He can't get through his promos when they're booing him. Now he's trying to do the shit where he starts to talk, stops, so he can collect himself. Because on Monday he was doing that, but he was still fucking up. It was like, dude, you have to stop that shit. Stop letting him get to you. Now, even if he didn't let him get to him, he still cuts bland promos, in my opinion. But you use what you can, okay? So the fact that he gets this heat so much he used that to an advantage. You know, you can't really say too much because he's doing his job, I guess. But when you analyze how he does his job, this is just me. It's like, no, he's not over with me yet. Not as a heel. He's still got a long way to go. In that ring, I think he's there now. I think, especially with that match he had with his father. And I don't give a shit that it was his father. You can say, oh, it was his pops. No. Dominic did his fucking thing in that fucking match. And it was more about than him being in the ring with his father. It was about him being in the ring with his father and letting his father know that he's ready to do this in that ring. Now tonight, Bad Bunny, the street fight, you know, Damian Priest. Bad Bunny sells really fucking well, as he should, because he's not a real wrestler. Sometimes I question whether or not he's actually selling or he's actually hurt and doing it both at the same time. But, you know, you had the kendo sticks, you had the garbage cans, you had Damian Priest chokeslamming his ass everywhere. And
through a table, too.
Yes. And you knew Bad Bunny was going to win. It was all about how he's going to win. And boy, did they pulled out all the stops in this. Like I said, you got the Judgment Day. When Carlito came out, I could not believe it. I said, holy shit. I popped for that. I popped so loud for that. Because Carlito still was in great shape. Was still in great shape. You know what I'm saying? Fucking giving the backstabber to Finn Balor. And then, you know, with the apple, of course, spitting that right in the Dominic's face, which made the whole fucking crowd go nuts. They were just waiting for that. They were waiting for that. So, you know, what happens now? Does Carlito come back, or he just stays in the King of Puerto Rico and down there in what is it? Was it Puerto Rican Wrestling Council, whatever the hell it's called?
I think it's IWA that he's.
The IWA. So, these were cool moments, of course. Like I said, Savio Vega came out, you know, he just stood there, yeah, I guess soaking up the you know, as Q would say, soaking up the reception, soaking up the pop, and then you have the LWO come out, and it was everything that it needed to be. You know, you couldn't have Bad Bunny go over this guy without some type of controversy or some type of plan, you know, so they gave him the gimmick match. So cool. But I really felt that this should have been a coming out party for Damian Priest in the sense of he should have closed the show. And not to mention this fucking Bad Bunny, and you're in Puerto Rico. Why would you not want to close the show with him? You know, but whatever. They chose to go a different route. Anyway, Bad Bunny wins. You know, enjoyed the shit out of the match. Q, what say you, brother?
You know, I just added another match to the Professor's Perspective Match of the Year.
Oh, stop it! Oh.
One of my selections here. So, you know, that's the number 4. Yeah, I'm doing my work. What are you talking about? I'm just doing my work. I'm doing my homework here. I have matches I got to put for the Professor's
You already putting this match in it? Really, nigga? Really, nigga? You put this match in there?
That's the nominees right there, you know, because of the ambiance, because of the setting.
What will do to a nigga, bro? I tell you.
Because of everything that happened in this match, it constitutes Match of the Year qualities right now. That's all I'm just saying. Is it going to win? Again, we got months to go. But I have to at least put this, you know, in my notes. That's all I'm just saying. But anyway, Bad Bunny, it brings an aura to the Puerto Rican, you know, to the Puerto Rican landscape. He brings an aura to the match that he had with Damian Priest. Should have closed the night. Again, that's a debate for IWC, YWC people. So, you know, I was happy with the placement of it because we have to be realistic of, you know, what is the actual main event. But they called it a double main event, or maybe it was a triple main event. Who knows? But Bad Bunny at the right time, at the right moment.
Hold on.
Oh. I heard
These niggas next door are just now watching this match. I can hear them. I live next door to some Dominicans, and they're just now watching Bad Bunny. That's what they're watching. I can hear them right now. Why y'all watching this? This shit was live 20 minutes ago. What the fuck are y'all doing? Why did y'all watch this shit 30 minutes ago?
Because they're reliving the moment.
I guess. I don't know if you guys can hear that, but yeah, they go nuts over that shit.
That's what Bad Bunny brings to the community. That's what Bad Bunny
got Dominicans screaming, bro. He's the first Puerto Rican that got Dominicans screaming for him other than Mark Anthony.
Yo, I'm gonna say this, and I know Vince McMahon is a hustleite, in but if you can book Bad Bunny versus Aventura,
Romeo, what's his name? Romeo Santos.
You put Bad Bunny versus
Oh
Romeo
my
Santos.
God! Yo, that actually, you just gave Tony Khan, who's also a hustleite, an idea. He's gonna bring this nigga in now. He's gonna bring him in with Ortiz. Watch, there you go. Oh my God! Could you imagine WrestleMania 40, Bad Bunny versus Romeo Santos? New York will be completely divided. All right, the WWE will start a racial war just based off that alone. All the girls will be split down the middle, okay? You couldn't talk shit. The Heights will be on fire with signs like saying, if Bad Bunny wins, we burn down Spanish Harlem or some shit like that.
Oh my God. Yeah, it would divide
a community.
It would divide a community very, very easily. But it was very enjoyable.
Eric Bischoff would have to have some type of event in the Dominican Republic to ease the tension. You know what I'm saying? So that's how it works. But then you have, all right, so the next match we got was a match where, another match, it wasn't even about the match for me. It was about the story and what's going to happen at the end in terms of this whole bloodline thing with the Usos and Solo Sikoa. And, the bloodline had to win because the bloodline had to, they didn't want the tribal chief mad at him, and you got Sami Zayn, Kevin Owens, and Matt Riddle, who I'm convinced his next match, he's going to come out in a fucking thong. This dude's tights get shorter and shorter and shorter. I'm like, is this nigga wearing panties? What is he wearing?
He's wearing his porn star girlfriend's stuff. That's what it was.
You know as well as I do, Q, my biggest pet peeves in this business is people wrestling barefooted. I got Matt Riddle and Solo Sikoa in the ring with no shoes on. At least this nigga got on some type of tape or whatever, so it's just like his feet and his heel is exposed or whatever. But I cannot stand watching people in bare feet wrestling. I just hate it. And if I have my own promotion, that shit'll be banned. Like curb stomp and black people, you can't do it. You're not going out there with shoes.
Well, again, to each
you need shoes.
Rusev had that problem too before he put on shoes. So
look what happened to his ass. Exactly.
Yeah. So I'll say this: you're right, but I think there's two stories here. You have that maybe Jey Uso and Solo Sikoa. They're gonna have that kind of like moment at SmackDown where Roman Reigns is gonna have the moment tonight. Right. But there's also a kind of underlying one that's starting, and I think because we're gonna see that. Because it'll sell itself. It's always going to be a money match, but I think because of this, you could see Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens, because of what Sami Zayn was trying to do and trying to get Jay to like see the light. Kevin Owens is going to be like, why have you cared about Jey Uso?
Well, he's already been saying that,
right? So it's going to be you could see them losing the title, and you could see Kevin Owens who. He's going to turn on Sammy in a couple of weeks or maybe a couple of months or something with that. It's just, I think you see two storylines kind of like starting for both brands.
No, exactly. You definitely know that at some point Kevin is going to turn probably after they lose the titles. And I don't want them to lose the titles anytime soon, even though the speculation is like they're probably going to drop into the Usos again. Which just made this whole thing a waste of time. But of course, they'll probably come up with some other storyline and just deviate again to an Owens versus Zayn thing. But the story that we got in this match tonight was the Usos and Solo Sikoa. I actually missed that spot, or what led up to that spot where he was, he grabbed up his brother. When I went to the bathroom real quick, when I came back, I saw it. So you explain that one.
Well, Solo Sikoa was going crazy. So he spiked. I think it was Kevin Owens. Then he was feeling himself, and then he got Jey Uso put his hand on Solo Sikoa's shoulder. Then he turned over and he was going to do the spike, and then he noticed.
Okay, that's okay.
And then Jay's like, "What you doing? I'm your brother. You my brother."
Yeah, that's what I saw. I thought he was gonna say, "I'm your older brother," like he mentioned before. Because I'm like, nigga, you older than him. My little brother would not dare raise a hand at me. Like, what the hell are you doing? And I thought Jimmy should have punched him right there. Your older brother your younger brother raises his hand at you. You teach him a lesson right then and there. But maybe they'll save that for SmackDown. And I know that, what you said, that's a good idea.
Biased because I'm the younger brother, so I always want a younger brother beating the shit out of older brother. So that's just me.
I'm the younger brother too. I'm the middle child of a mother's 3 children. I'm the youngest out of my dad's 18 children. So we understand it. We understand it. And if your idea makes sense, they should have Roman on SmackDown. Have these two fight. We already know he favors Solo, both his brothers, but they need to have these two fight. Like, you raised your hand to your brother. That's not good. This, that, and the third. So y'all gonna have to handle this yourselves, and yada 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 yada. So they could do something like that, and it could help the story. But I thought the match. It was, to me. Here's the problem. I've seen this shit. I've seen it too many times. Be it the Usos versus Zayn and Owens, we saw Solo versus Matt Riddle, and so now we've seen all 3 of them. And so for me, it's like I'm watching this shit all over again. So I need something that's going to keep me fresh, and that was the story. So I got to give them props for that, because you gave me something I already seen that I didn't care to see again. Maybe not in the actual triple threat match, but I've seen all these 3 together. So you managed to put together a story within the match, a story within the story, that made this a little bit more intriguing. But I lost count after the freaking 7th super kick. Mm-hmm. Okay? It's time we stop having that conversation about the Bucks and start having that conversation about the Usos. Because right now, they're the ones spamming the fuck out of these super kicks, and it is getting so tiresome. And that's why, like I saw the other day, it was like, I really want to see the Bucks versus the Usos. I really want to see it. And I'm like, don't nobody want to see 1,000 super kicks. I'm sorry. There was a time where I would have loved to see that. Now, nope.
I think people do, Track. I think people want to see 1,000 super kicks.
Maybe they do.
Fresh. It's just fresh. Because those two having fun.
I can literally see them doing that for the first 2 minutes of the match, going back and forth with super kicks, making it the most unrealistic shit you ever seen in your life. So, you ain't gonna watch no martial arts movie and watch 2 niggas go back and forth, kicking each other in the head. That's not gonna happen like that. It's not like Bloodsport where, Jean-Claude Van Damme was with that other guy. They were going back and forth, kicking each other in the ribs and shit. And he was like, come on! That's different. You do a punch back and forth, that's different.
But I'll say this. The only way that match would be enjoyable, but you have to be an old head to remember this. Well, it's only a couple of years ago. But if you ever watched Ring of Honor Hustleites, when Young Bucks did a match, what is it? Steve Corino used to do commentary for Ring of Honor, and every time the Young Bucks had a match, Steve Corino would go crazy saying super kick, and he had a super kick counter. So that's why I would like to see the Bucks against the Usos, but I need Steve Corino to be on commentary just to say super kick about 257 times. That's just me.
So then you got the goddamn main event, and I got to tell you, the like I said in the beginning, maybe I did it, maybe I didn't. I don't even remember if I said in the beginning. The flow of this pay-per-view kind of went by fast, and we get to the main event, which I did not care. I didn't care. Was it good? Yeah. What did it do for me? Nothing. Absolutely nothing. Especially the way that shit ended. I said, really? That was it? That, first of all, let's just talk about the ending of the match. Brock gets Cody in a Kimura lock, and Cody ends up pinning Brock, whose shoulders were not completely down on the mat even. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I thought I saw actual space between Brock's shoulders and the mat. Maybe I was just seeing shit because I was a little bit too high. But I know for a fact Brock's shoulders were not completely on the mat.
Well, you got to remember the angle of the referee. He saw the one shoulder down, so he didn't have a great view of the other shoulder that was up.
Be that as it may, fine. That was still a weak-ass ending. Okay, oh, yeah. It was still a weak ending. The way Cody was talking, man, you wanted him to destroy Brock. And to be fair, he did bust him open. So much for that, rule that was floating around about no more bleeding because fucking Brock went Mox. And of course, that was when I actually came a little bit more alive.
But you notice there was an edict by the camera people. Don't show Brock's face. That if you notice the camera angle, it was on a pan angle.
When Brock was on his knees after that match, the camera was clearly on him, and you saw all that blood on his face.
It was white. It was not like crimson red. It was like he wiped himself. There's a difference. But during the match, when
did he juice or was that hard way?
I couldn't really recall it, but I just saw the camera angle that they was trying to pan back, and they didn't want to show Brock's face. They didn't want to show it up close. They didn't do the AEW like when Mox bleeds. They didn't want to show the blood. They didn't do it. They went back. So they tried their best.
Maybe they did do that. I just wasn't realizing that they were doing it.
If Hustleites, you got to notice they panned back. They didn't want to show his face, so they kept trying to honor the sponsors and trying to keep it.
You might be right on that.
But at the end, he wiped him so much, so it was kind of clean. It was clean enough for him to okay, you can see Brock's face. But yeah, I know what you're talking about with that.
Like I wanted a spot where like the ref was like knocked out or something like that or distracted, and Cody kicks him in the balls like twice. He hit him with the crossroads twice, but Brock that's when Brock put him in the Kimura lock. Brock was suplexing this dude all over the fucking place. The match started out real good. You had Cody, torturing Brock with the stairs like Brock did to him, but and it bought him some time because it made it excusable because the match didn't officially start yet. So you couldn't say, he should have been disqualified. The match didn't start. So that was a good way to start off the match. But again, I just did not care. And they're telling me about the story continues with a detour to Brock. No, I don't care. The story's fucking over. All right? You lost to Roman. The story's over. If anything, you're starting a new story. Fine. But this story is over. You lost. You lost.
Well, the story will continue when he wins the Royal Rumble again and then challenges
Roman. That's a new story. Again, it's a new story. It's not the continuation of the story. It's just a brand new story.
You don't accept that.
You lost. He lost. The story's over. You lost.
He could try to fight for the Money in the Bank briefcase and lose. That's the story because he wants Roman. Then he goes to Royal Rumble.
If he goes for the Money in the Bank and loses, the story ended again. What is this, Lord of the Rings 3? How many fucking endings are we going to get with this nigga?
Do you understand the concept of chapters? In a story, there's chapters. So
this is Lord of the Rings long, okay? This is Return of the King stories type shit.
Chapter 1's over. Now we go to chapter 2. And after chapter 2 is chapter 3. You got to understand the whole book could be 400 pages long, but there's chapters in the damn story. You are not accepting it because for some reason, the wrestling fans think a story has to end with one chapter. By the way, no, a book has more than one chapter, Hustleites. I'm trying to school you. There's more than one goddamn chapter for Cody Rhodes. He's on chapter 2 right now. It's after WrestleMania.
Chapter 1, The Return. Chapter 2, The Beast. Chapter 3, Chapter 3 is Chapter 3 is The Climb. For Money in the Bank. Chapter 4.
Oh, you're doing it. You're doing it right
there. Chapter 4. The Battle Royale. Okay, the Royale. That's it. And then chapter 5.
No, chapter 4 will be
chapter 5. The Return of the King. That's chapter 5. He fights Roman Reigns again at WrestleMania 40. That's a lot of chapters, Q. I don't got the patience for that.
I'm sorry that you need clip notes, but there's chapters to the shit. When you did an English paper, when you had an English test, you had to read the whole goddamn book. You couldn't just say...
I had clip notes.
I did too. This is the realism here. We got to read the chapters. You got to read the chapters, Hustleites. I'm sorry. You can't just scroll through it. You just can't use Cliff Notes. You got to read the whole chapter, and that's what Cody Rhodes is trying to do for you.
All right, so Cody ended this chapter. This chapter ended in a very shitty way. Okay, he just skated. I don't want to say he skated by, but he got lucky in this chapter. All right, the prince just happened to see the light at the tunnel.
But the chapter might continue because, like you said, you saw that Brock's shoulder was up and the referee was not in a good position. So that could be something where Cody be like, I didn't win cleanly or I didn't win honorably. Who knows?
I forgot. Chapter 3, The Doubt.
Beautiful. It writes itself.
I'm writing this shit right now. A-Track is putting this story together. And I'm the only nigga who can do it. In fact, they need to do that every match he has. They got to open it up with chapter this, chapter that. Then you'll have me. Every pay-per-view match that they do from now on, every video vignette promo they do for Cody has to act. This was chapter 2. So when they do the next promo for the next match, they have to open it with chapter 3. Kind of like what they did with Willow or The Mandalorian. The Mandalorian, chapter 3, The Rise. Chapter 4, The Spies. Chapter 5, The Return. It has to be like that, all right? Every Cody vignette has to have a chapter in the beginning of it.
And Cody has his own Grogu in his baby. So,
Grogu Sparrow. But nah, so Cody wins the match. It's whatever. And what's next? Who the fuck knows? What's next, Q?
The Night of Champions in 3 weeks.
Yeah, so again, in this match, if you notice, Cody never addressed that damn title. So maybe that's something to look forward to, that he's not going to go for it. He's not going to be in the tournament. Or maybe he is going to be in the tournament and he loses. Chapter 4, The Letdown again.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, all right, whatever. So that was Backlash. And on a scale of 1 to 10, I gave it a 7.5. I enjoyed it. It was a fun show. There were things about it that I thought was stupid. I was upset, and it lost points because Bad Bunny and Priest didn't close the show. I'm sorry, and I'm not going to back off from that. Bad Bunny and Priest closed the show. And before we get out of here to the next topic, thoughts on this pay-per-view, Q? What score did you give it?
9. That's all I want to say. 9.
Gave it a 9, of course. Bueno, fine. Está bien. Let's talk about something that just broke me, okay? And speaking of being broken, AEW's attempt at a deletion match. I couldn't have been more pissed off. I think it's no secret to anybody who's stuck with this channel how much I love the broken Matt Hardy character. How much I loved the final deletion matches. I didn't even think I thought the WWE did an okay job between him and Bray, but I said, there's no way no one can fuck this up worse than WWE. I don't want to really consider that a fuck up, but no way anybody can do it worse than them. But AEW did that, and I just was like, oh my God. This was not booked by Matt Hardy. And if it was probably like 40% or 30%. Number one, when you go into broken Matt Hardy, you build him. You build him up. You start giving us reasons as to why he's becoming broken. They never did that. Him being under the firm should have led to him going nuts again. But that didn't happen. It was just all of a sudden he's broken Matt Hardy again because they want to have a firm deletion match. Then I'm watching this shit, and you have commentary? I'm listening to fucking commentary? There's no commentary in a deletion match. I don't need to hear Excalibur. I don't need to hear anybody. No music. You fucking paid for you paid for Carry On My Wayward Son. You paid for Wild Thing. You do a deletion match. You have music in that motherfucker. You have Rebby welcoming these dudes to her house playing the piano. Okay? The Maxo spots was cool. I was entertained by what Stokely did. Okay? I don't know what the hell this dude was doing. He was, you know, you sent me the full thing, and that shit even made it. That made me even more angry.
I'm surprised it did. I thought it would make you let it down a little bit. Your anger would go down a little bit.
What the fuck was Hook doing in that match? He had no business there. I don't give a fuck if they did align him with Matt Hardy. Hook did not belong in that match. I see what Billy Ray is saying now. We don't really necessarily agree on a cold-hearted, handsome devil thing. You know, he hates it. I'm indifferent to it. But this right here fucks with his character, and I don't like this direction. Now,
and he only did one thing in the match. He did his suplex, and that was it.
That was it. You know, he was in the ring doing some shit. I was just like, well, what? Whoa! Why is Hook here? No, this is. But you know what? I will say they didn't have him do anything really stupid. You know, he just did what Hook does. You know, but I just felt that this ain't for him. And I'm watching everything else, and you have things that are you know, deletion-esque, but it was missing so much of the true deletion broken essence. It wasn't there. It just was not there. And I was just like, I don't want to hear shit about AEW right now for the next day or two, because they just pissed me off with this shit. And you put it on fucking Rampage. Why would you not put that on Dynamite? What do you think is going to affect your fucking pillars, who had the fucking worst ratings in the whole fucking show last week or this week? Again, they ain't pillars. You want to book MJF, Jungle Boy, Darby, Sammy as the future? Be my guest. But knowing what pillars mean, don't call them that. Orange Cassidy is more over than all three of them, with the except he's not more over than MJF, but he's more over than Darby, Jungle Boy, and Sammy. Why is he not in that group? Britt Baker is more over than Sammy, Darby, and Jungle Boy. Why is she not considered a pillar? You made Adam Page champion. Even his segments get higher ratings than these guys. Why is he not a pillar? These pillar shits are getting on my fucking nerves. Now, congratulations and props, and I'm so glad I was wrong about the Wembley Stadium shit. And I'm pretty sure that show's probably going to fucking be off the hook. But stop with the pillars, and fuck y'all for what y'all did to a deletion match, because that's not how it goes. Before we get out of here, Q, any final thoughts?
Well, with the deletion match, I think I'm with you on that, with your commentary. I'll just say this. I mean, the bar is set because you cannot top Matt Hardy and Jeff Hardy. You can't top that. Everything was so crisp. It was so beautiful. The cinematic stuff, them. So,
and you don't expect them to. That's the thing. You don't expect it to be better than before. You just expect it to be entertaining, you know? And there are parts where it was, but for deletion purists like myself.
No, but that's the trap. That's the trap of how beautiful that match was with the Hardys, because they knew what they wanted to do, and they had the foresight, they had the imagination. But then when you add, you know, like you said, you couldn't do it in WWE, and you damn sure can't do it in AEW. You just cannot top that magic that happened. So that's the thing I'll say on that. As far as Wembley Stadium goes, kudos to AEW for, you know, getting 60,000 tickets sold. Cool. You know, I don't like the trolls saying, well, I don't know if they were going to even get 30,000. I don't even know if they're going to get 40,000. Like,
hey, I ain't gonna lie. I was the first one who said, yo, I don't think they're gonna do it. And people are like, be ready to eat the crow. I'm like, I'll eat that crow with a nice tall glass of lemonade.
You was analyzing it. No. You was analyzing it. You was not trolling it. No, I saw the troll saying,
oh, I got you.
They're not. You was just questioning, could they do it? I was like, I think they can do it because anything that they do in a first time area, they kind of pretty much, it would be like 90% capacity of what they want, or they'll meet their goals. That's the way I'll say it. But I'll say this, and this is just me, and I know what All In brought from the first time in 2018. I don't think All In's going to be a storyline pay-per-view. I think it's just going to be a showcase of New Japan. I think people are expecting like Okada going to be there, maybe Tanahashi going to be there, maybe Sonata, maybe Will Ospreay.
Well,
maybe
if you do all that, then you're really shitting on Forbidden Door right there just by adding all of those people. It's like, then what's the point of Forbidden Door,
Yeah, what's the point of Forbidden Door but that was what All In was the first time, Track. So I'm just being honest here. So you're really doing Forbidden Door twice in the same year, but you're just doing it in two different locations. You're doing Forbidden Door with New Japan against AEW, but All In is a showcase event for all, the working partners. So I think you're just going to get limited storyline. Maybe you might get one or two AEW matches with a storyline into it, but I think it's just going to be a showcase. So why wouldn't people expect 60 or 70,000 people going into Wembley Stadium? Because I'm expecting what I remember from 2018. That's the only thing I'll say.
Fair enough. Yo, Q, we want to get out of here. It's been a long-ass show. Let them know where they can find you, brother.
You can find me on the Twitter at PWHustle PROF. That's PWHustle Prof. And you can find me on the Podbeans on the Hameen Media Group, where I host the most nostalgic podcast out there, the PWR, the Pro Wrestling Reflection Podcast, with myself and Tommy Wonder. And we just dropped an episode, so go check it out. We did a Pro Wrestling Spotlight Untapped Potential Edition Spotlight.
It's actually uploaded right now. I just haven't pressed public. That's just to let you know.
But we paid homage to two Cold Scorpios, one of my favorites, and I've always said he's untapped potential. He's one of my favorite underrated stars of all time. So we wanted to give
the man who whooped Hawk's ass.
Yeah.
Yo, so of course, yes, PWR, check that shit out. Check me out here, of course, PWHustle, the reactions and shit. Follow me on Twitter, @ATrackBrown, the number 8, TRAC Brown.
He's on vacation. He's on vacation. Leave him alone. Just forgive him. Give him a week.
I gotta take a break. I apologize to all the other hustleites out there. Jay Snow, the man with no kingdom, Mr. Right, who's never wrong. I want to have you brothers on. I promise you, I will have you guys on as soon as I fucking take this break. I got to. My man David Bentz out there, you want to join the hustle? I'm going to have you on at some point too. Malik X, I didn't forget about you, brother. Just don't bite my head off. Just give me some time. I didn't even want to do this shit. I didn't even want to do this. I need to take a break.
He deserves it. He deserves it, Lights.
I'm falling apart. Anyway, see you guys later. Like, comment, subscribe. Follow us on Twitter. We see you guys later. Hope you enjoy the show. Peace. Puerto Rico. Oh, Puerto Rico. Oh, Puerto Rico.